Hey everyone, it's Friday, and today we're going to make a quick video about our Topic 4 quiz, and then after that we'll do a short preview of Topic 5. All right, so here's the quiz, and we'll start as usual. In preview mode, it won't let me submit at the end, but you'll get an idea of what the 10 questions are about. Here I'm multiplying two decimals together. The thing that I notice is this is a power of 10. It's 0.001. It's a decimal, and I've moved that from the 1. It's 1, 2, 3 places to the left. So when I do multiplication by a power of 10, all that does is it shifts the decimal. Now I want to think about this. It's going to become smaller because I'm multiplying a number, so that means the decimal is going to move to the left. So I just count 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to move the decimal point 1, 2, 3. Pad it with those extra zeros, 0.00976. This is about square roots, and when you have a square root, underneath it cannot be negative. Outside is fine. This is like that last question from your homework. So this one, not a real number. And this one, the negative just sits out. I apply the square root first. Square root of 36 is 6, so I get negative 6. Here we're adding two fractions together. They have a common denominator already, so I can just simply add the numerators. 2 plus 1 is 3. Over the 8, it doesn't reduce, and therefore I'm done. Dividing by a power of 10. Dividing by a power of 10 is also shifting the decimal. I want to think about this. Dividing by a number bigger than 1 makes it smaller. So again, I'm going to move the decimal point 1, 2, 3 zeros. So 1, 2, 3 places to the left, 0.0162. Now 34 over 9 is going to be one that I actually have to work out. So I have my whiteboard open over here. I'm going to take the 9 and write it outside. Goes into 34. I'm going to place the decimal, and I'm going to add at least one 0 and maybe multiple ones. I don't know exactly how far I'm going to go until I start to see a repeating pattern. So 9 goes into 34, 3 times. 3 times 9 is 27. I'm just ignoring the decimal point at this point. So subtract and get 7. Bring down the next 0. 9 goes into 70. Well, that's 7 times. 7 times 9 is 63. And now I'm going to get remainder 7. So just like I got remainder 7 here, I'm getting remainder 7 here, which means every time I'm going to bring down, this is going to be 70, and then I'm going to get 63, and I'm going to subtract and get another 7. So this is just going to continue, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7. So in other words, the repeating part is the 7. So I'm just going to write this as 3.7 with the repeating part as the bar over the top of it. Now, give me the ability to put the bar in. Right, but I'm going to put the 3 in, and then the point, and then the bar, and then the 7. 3.7 with the bar over the top. All right, now this is going the other direction. Now I have something with the repeating part, and we need to write it as a fraction. This is the Wednesday's video, the topic of Wednesday's video. So we're going to set S equal to 0.19 with the bar over the top of it. The period is 2. So I'm going to multiply by 10 to the 2 power, which is 100. So I'll get 100s. And multiplying by 100 moves the decimal point over 2 places. So I'm going to get 19, and then the decimal point, and then the next to 19, because that pattern repeats itself over and over and over again. And then I'm going to subtract the original S equals 0.19. And the trick here is the repeating parts cancel each other out. So on the left, I get 99s, 100 minus 1. And over here, the repeating part cancels each other out, so I get 19. And now I'm going to divide by 99. Now 19 is prime, and so this is not going to reduce. It's fully reduced at this point. Here I'm subtracting decimal fractions. They don't have the same denominator, 12 and an 8, so I need to find the least common denominator of 12 and 8, or the least common multiple. Same thing. So I could write out the multiples, 8, 16, 24, until I get to the first multiple of 12. Or I could do prime factorization, but the least common denominator, the least common multiple is going to be 24. So then I'm going to take this 11 twelfths, and I'm going to create a 24 by multiplying top and bottom by 2. Now for the 7/8, I'm going to multiply top and bottom by 3. And then when I subtract, I have the common denominator, so I subtract the numerators, I get 1 over 24. Here we already have the common denominator, so I simply subtract the numerators. I get 3 over 9, but then I have to remember to reduce. So 3 over 9 divided by 3 simplifies to 1/3. Number 9, adding different denominators, but the least common denominator here is going to be the 9. So I just need to take the 1/9, which already has that denominator of 9, and for the 1/3, I'm going to multiply by 3 over 3 to write 3/9. And now they have the common denominator, so I can add the numerators. And it didn't reduce. And finally, divide. So to divide, I can either divide straight across, but that's not really going to help me because the 4 divided by 7. So I'm going to invert, do the reciprocal of the second number and turn it into a multiplication problem. So I'll have 4 over 9 now times, and then flip it over, 12 over 7. And remember to reduce as much as possible. 7 doesn't really factor out, but here I can take out a 3 out of the 9 and a 3 out of the 12, and then multiply straight across. 4 times 4 now is 16, and 3 times 7 is 21. All right, that's the last question on the quiz. So I'm going to close the quiz. Again, I can't submit, and it won't tell me which ones I got right or wrong, but we did do all 10 of these, and I believe we did them successfully. Next, we're going to go into topic 5, and I'm going to give you a short preview of the homework as the topics that are coming up. And we'll meet next Wednesday, as usual, in Zoom at 8 a.m. to start talking about some of this content. So here we have algebraic equations, and then we're going to be doing adding and subtracting of decimals. Algebraic equations, solving for variables by kind of undoing, multiplying and dividing in order to isolate the variable. More solving algebraic equations. Most of these look like linear equations. Linear equation, solving as much as possible. Simplifying and solving algebraic equations. So we'll talk about some different sorts of approaches that you can use for teaching this to your children. There's a really good one that you can start with even young children about using a scale, a balancing model. What you do to one side of the scale, you need to do to the other side in order to keep things in balance. These are simple word problems, and that verbal translation, the translation of the words into an equation, which then you can use those same techniques to solve. Ratio, part to a whole, using it as in different kinds of notations. And then we'll start to talk about ratios and percents. And then we'll add in to this decimal fraction conversion that we were trying in topic 4 to have percent to decimal, decimal to percent to fraction, fraction to percent. So 3 different ways of manifesting a number. We'll get into point plotting on a Cartesian coordinate system and graphing lines using slope and y-intercept. Slope and y-intercept, linear equations with 2 variables instead of 1, and interpretations and word problems that involve those. All right, so that's the end of my preview. We will again go through a lot more of this next week on Wednesday. What I can tell you that's coming up for topic 5 is going to be first solving equations that have 1 variable in it, translation of word problems using point coordinates, x and y. So now we're going to have 2 variables, and then graphing lines and solving equations related to lines that have these 2 variables in them. All right, I hope you enjoy your weekend and look forward to seeing you again on Wednesday.